Hey everyone, my name is Michael James and I'm here to show you my new summer rig for 2024, my Fractal FM9 mounted to a Temple Audio Duo 24. Here are some of my tips and tricks. Enjoy.
Since 2018, my fly rig has been my Axe X3 and Matrix power amp. With my wireless units in the back, housed in my SKB rolling rack, it came in at 49.5 pounds. Gonna be honest, I'm getting older and I'm getting tired of lugging all that weight around. Enter my summer rig for 2024, my Temple Audio build for my FM9. It's important to lay out in advance what your plans are for the end caps, as well as the design for all your wiring underneath. I think I'm the first person to fit 2 half racks of wireless units. It took some late night design concepts to be able to make that happen with everything else that you see, but it turned out great and I'm very happy with it. I was able to get away with using no Velcro on the build, mounting the FM9 in EV2, with 3.5mm 0.6 thread machine screws. The recommended length for mounting is 16mm, but they were not readily available at the time of my build. So with the blessing of the boys at Fractal, I was able to find some 20mm screws and went with that. Starting on the right side of the board is the Temple Audio Ojai 5L mod. The module powers both my wireless units as well as the LEDs. Coming in just under a half pound, it features dip switches for all your DC needs. However, this module does not currently come with an AC adapter, but Cass over at Temple Audio was kind enough to send me a link to a 24-watt Strymon power adapter that does the trick. Also on the right end cap, I installed a USB-C panel mount adapter, so I can plug into my laptop whether I'm at home or on the road. In doing so, it will need to be mounted on a Temple Audio micro module punch plate. This connects to a right angle printer cable that connects to my FM9. Now the fun really begins, as most of my action comes from the left end cap, starting with the Temple Audio Amp Mod 100-watt stereo amplifier. Initially, a little half-pound power amp and an end cap gave me pause for concern for sure, but I'm running direct front of house, and most of the time I'm wearing in-ears, so my backline cabs are basically just to push a little bit of air on stage for the band, and honestly I was pleasantly surprised by the sound. Again, currently, Temple Audio doesn't offer a power adapter for the amp mod, so Cass hooked me up with an adapter that allows me to run my backline as loud as I could possibly ever want. The first adapter he suggested was a little too big for my build, so I found the same specs with a smaller brick, allowing me to fit in the space needed. Also on the left end cap is a Temple Audio mini module punch plate, allowing up to 3 panel adapters, the first being a TRS input for my in-ear monitors, and the second 2 XLR outs for the front of house. All 3 pigtails needed to be modified, the first being a Switchcraft TRS for my IEMs, and the second 2 being low-profile XLRs for the front-of-house out. Finishing off the right end cap is the Temple Audio IEC AC mains micro module. You definitely want to save yourself some hassle and take the right end cap off before installing. From my IEC mains I added a 3-way splitter, the first split running to the FM9, the second to the Temple Audio Ojai 5L, and the third split, I added an extra on-off switch to the amp mod so that I can power it down when I'm not using cabs. Moving to the back of the board, for my TS and TRS cables I chose the Ernie Ball flat ribbon patch cables. They're very lightweight and easy to pass through the larger openings of the Temple Audio board. I also added some 3/4 inch rubber grommets for the larger openings of the Temple Audio board for long-term protection of the cables. Finishing off the back of the board is the mounting of my antennas for both wirelesses. My PSM900 has a single BNC antenna, which I was able to mount through one of the larger holes with some 1¼ inch washers. I used some BNC right angle connector cables to clean up underneath the board, as well as make things lighter. My GLX-T4, however, does not have BNC connectors, but rather SMA. Those were a little bit more difficult to find, but much easier to mount as they fit through the smaller holes with ease. I had to buy an SMA female connector chassis mount, and matching up the polarities for the right angle connectors took a little time. To avoid any potential problems on stage with stepping on cables, I fabricated a 20-foot power cable, adding in an IEC lock, and did the same thing for my right angle IEC locking cable for the FM9. To clean up the underside, I removed excess cabling, cutting any extra length, resoldering, and adding right angle barrel jack connectors as needed. In order to get the FM9 and EV2 to fit well, I needed to get a little creative with the handles. I landed on the idea of using some 1/4 inch canvas offset clips and painting them black, This gave me the space needed so that I could continue to use the handles. The rubber feet on the Temple Audio boards are a little short for my liking, so I added some 5/8 by 3/4 rubber feet, giving me the ability to pick the board up from the bottom if needed. And for ambiance, I added the Temple Audio RGB LED light strip for the Duo 24. This helps me if I need to check my wireless units under the board on a dark stage, as well as being able to turn the amp mod on or off. And to finish off the build, I added the Gear by Seba screen guard for the FM9.
Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed my fly rig for 2024. Listed in the description is everything I used on the build. Feel free to leave me questions and comments below. Take care.